Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, Episode 9B. Yeah, I'm picking up our last episode because I got interrupted because dinner was ready. Yep, that's the usual reason why lately I get interrupted for these videos, is because dinner is ready. Okay, picking up where I last left off this video, we'll talk about the Epic Disappear. Yeah, and the thing with this one is that one of the characters in this episode, his name is Kenru. There's a woman who very heavily implies she has a thing for him, and turns out, yep, she does. Yeah, and she came there early because, well, she came for a specific reason. Because she accepted his wedding proposal. Which, that was nice. Yeah, so she's going to England with him. Because she kind of just like, hey, like, Arthur wants to stay because, well, he misses his beloved Christie. So, yeah, and of course the woman reveals, what's her name? Remember, she's around the same age as him. Hosky, that's her name, yeah. Where she reveals that she is basically agreeing to go with him, basically accepting his wedding proposal. Hooray! Who knows if they actually have a wedding off screen, but they don't mention it. Nope. They don't mention it because these two characters never appear again in the series. Alright, next came the locked wine case. This one I thought was quite interesting. Yeah, a guy got killed in his wine cellar. Yeah, but when they found him, he was found the most unusual way possible. Like, apparently he looked like he was kneeling, but bent backwards, and there were bottles shot all over the place. One shelf. How this was accomplished is quite ingenious. Like, somehow, that after he got killed, I think he got killed by strangulation, the killer apparently took two clothesline poles, threaded through his pants, and pushed into an open window, which by the way he had turned off the lock for, because they revealed in this episode that this one has a special locking mechanism on it. So he pushes him through and then knocks him down and basically puts him in position. And of course, they had Tagashi basically be the guinea pig for this, and he didn't like it very much. Yeah, but it was quite funny. And it turns out the guy who actually did it was the guy who really wanted to borrow money. But this was an interesting little episode, and it was really enjoyable. Plus, I love the wife basically was quite something. The beach tour one. Yeah, where they have Rachel, Richard, and Conan go to the beach. We're in the mystery group, and one of them later gets killed. Turns out it was one that apparently Richard took a shine to, because he called her beautiful, like the smoking hot lady or something. And apparently she was interested in him too, but she gets killed off screen. I mean, it's implied it might be the photographer, and yeah, it is the photographer who actually was one who actually killed her. What? Actually, it wasn't a photographer killed. It was actually one of the two girls. It was the one with darker hair. Yeah, the reason why she killed him because she was going to blackmail her over. She was blackmailing her over the fact she got to the university illegally. Yeah, but this basically was an art club, which I thought was interesting, and it was nice seeing this play, seeing the whole stuff going on, and of course going to a water park. One of several episodes they go to a park. Yeah, but an episode, fun episode, but not the last time we see a beach episode this season. As a matter of fact, there's one a little bit later, and they know the fact they went to the beach anyways. Yeah. Then we have followed by another two-part right after the whole Nikki Beach mystery, and we have the 3 case. Yeah, this one involves a horse killing a guy, and, well, supposedly killing him, but it turns out he was not killed by a horse. He was killed by a horseshoe, but it was not from a horse. It was another guy who, yeah, it turns out that this particular fleecer is this particular way they describe this episode. This is the guy who puts the horseshoes on the horses, and he's very good at his job. So it was found out in this episode the guy had been taking money from a guy who really wanted to buy this ranch. Yeah, so there basically were two suspects, a woman and the owner. And the owner basically was implied it was him, but nope, it wasn't him at all. It was the other guy who was there, the guy who drove the truck. He was the one who actually killed him. And from the look of it, looks like he killed him in self-defense. Yeah, I don't think he might get jail time for it, but he might get some. Maybe it's like a slap or wrist, but it looks like self-defense. Yeah, but it was an interesting little two-parter. But ended on a funny note where, well, they actually met one of the horse that basically was big focal point of this episode, was actually one that Richard won a lot of money off this one, and yeah, he apparently is really terrible at betting, so he loses a boatload of money. Yeah, he's addicted to gambling on horse races. The Bullet Train one. Yeah. I thought this kind of was, well, kind of like the Metropolitan Police love story, but nope, it has nothing to do with it at all. It kind of continues the budding romance between Sato and Tagashi, but nope, it's over. Of course, this particular two-part is actually referenced in the finale for this particular season. Yeah, where the suspect, the transport, gets killed, and he's killed by a guy carrying a sports paper. Yeah. And this is another episode where this one basically it's implied this guy was going to kill himself via shipwreck toe, but nope. He got killed very similarly with a different knife. Yeah, but because of the fact that this guy died while they're in custody, McGuire basically docked him 3 months pay over this. Yeah, they got reduced pay for 3 months. That was overall a fun one. It was interesting doing this one. Watch this one. Yeah. Boy, gangsters, misfortune. Yeah. Where George is being stalked by a by the serial person who really wants to kill him. And you see before, and here's the thing. It was kind of reversed, like it was everything 202 was actually SOS. Yeah, it turns out it was a guy he had met before. Turns out he thought he witnessed, but nope, it was not a witness, it was the actual guy. And so about the French flag, so and turns out he also fell asleep while basically getting his hair cut. Though I'm curious though, how in the world does he get the side of his head partially shaved? Yeah, that's never explained in the series. But yeah, I believe this is another one of the filler episodes. I believe so. Check. Let's see. Yeah, this is one of the filler episodes. Actually, no, it's not one of the filler episodes. There's actually a few more after this one. Yep. Then we have the Richard Moore imposter. Yeah, this imposter guy has a very striking resemblance to him, despite the fact he has a different mustache. Yeah, and of course the whole staff think it's Richard Moore, but nope, it's not him. Yeah, when you feel he actually really is the real one, they were actually all shocked the fact that the guy was an imposter. And it's all was over in that attaché case that thought contained money, but nope, it contained the newspaper involving a sumo wrestler. Okay, yeah, and about the whole number whatever, and turns out it was one of the employees who did it, who killed him, and apparently he killed off another guy 5 years prior. Yeah, all over this money. Okay. Yeah, it was also implied that the imposter was the partner, but nope, he wasn't the imposter. He was someone who was hired by the partner of the guy who died previously. They also run into, believe it or not, the investigator from that Jimmy Kudo reveal. Yeah, the guy who's a terrible investigator. And this guy's getting paid for what he does. Yeah, interesting little two-parter. Even the manga was quite interesting. Not really changed what I remember. Nope. Yeah, then we have the gunshot at the Sunflower Building. Yeah, about this magnificent architect. And it turns out this guy is actually a thief. He steals what people's work and plagiarizes it. Yeah, and the guy who they stole this particular museum from, like this museum, it was actually designed by one of his students, and he took credit for it. So the guy killed him, and it was one of the most interesting ways I've seen someone get killed in this series. Though he get killed by a rifle, it was set up very ingeniously because of the fact this house rotates at a particular point in time. So yeah, it was an interesting little one. It was actually the guy who was getting charcoal. Yep, and boy, this guy has a smoking hot wife, a woman who basically was in her mid-30s, but she looked beautiful. I'm surprised Richard Moore didn't basically drool over like almost every other woman he meets in the series. But I'll give it to you when it comes to this one. Mystery in the Net. This one is noteworthy for Anita basically introducing herself to Rachel for the first time in the series. And the reason why she was hesitant to meet her because, well, she thought she would hate her. Nope, no problem with her. And apparently she couldn't talk. Apparently she didn't inform them in time because she also had a heat stroke. Oh yeah, and also because of this fact they were at the beach. Now Rachel and Serena had no idea that Conan was going to the beach, but he was going to the beach with Detective Boys, and of course both Anita and Amy are both wearing one-piece swimsuits. Rachel, of course, there was a joke in here. I thought this was so funny, where Anita said that Rachel had childbearing hips, and she said Serena has a small butt. I thought this was kind of funny, but it is something though that the reason why she probably said that because she probably knew Rachel could have kids, and it's kind of she kind of knows that she doesn't. She kind of knows in her head. She kind of knows that Jimmy has a. Of course, Jimmy's in love with Rachel, though he won't admit it yet. Though I think it was so funny the fact that the thing that she has childbearing hips. Yeah, I thought that was so funny. And they didn't even notice that was even her until she turned around. Of course, she was wearing this blue and white striped swimsuit. Yeah, it's just me, or she's went through like a half a dozen swimsuits over the course of the series. Even in One Piece, the characters go through like not One Piece, Fairy Tail. They go through like 2 or 3. Yeah, over the course of this series, Rachel has gone through at least like 5 over the course of 9 seasons. Yep. And the murder in this episode was a guy trapped in a fishing net. And yeah, and he was basically trapped in a hole on the beach. And normally he would basically out normally, but there was a weight holding him down. What was his weight? A boat, a rowboat. And it turns out there were 3 guys who had beef with him, and it was the first guy I remember at the restaurant who actually was one who killed him. Yeah, this episode is canon because I remember this one from the manga, but yeah. But this one I found to be pretty interesting for an episode. Yeah, and it was particularly very good. Moving on to Alibi of the Sleuthing Forest. Yeah, this is a filler episode involving a village head getting killed. Who kills him? His elder son. Yeah, over the fact he wanted money for this generator because he turned him down. Yep. And apparently how he escaped from it. I mean, noticing was that he basically took off his pants, turned them inside out, and stuffed them with clay, and used as a flotation to go down the river. Yeah, because basically walking to this place from the boarding house takes like an hour, but 5 minutes by car. But they didn't have the car, so yeah. And of course, Conan was one who noticed the fact that 5 pieces of clay was missing. So yeah, that's they kind of figure out the trick. How he got killed? Stabbed with a letter opener. Yep, that's how he got killed. A letter opener. Okay, not bad. People might mistake it as a regular knife, but nope, it's a letter opener. It's an okay way to kill somebody in the series, but yeah. But the reasoning is because they turned on money. hmm Yeah, Idol Stars. This one was an interesting one involving, of course, Richard not wanting to work at all because all he wants to do is watch Yonko concerts. Yeah, he's had a crush on her since the start of the series. As for how this came about, no idea. I don't think this has ever been explained in this series. I don't know if it's explained in the most recent chapter of how in the world you have a crush on a woman who's 20, who looks like she's about 10 years younger than he is, and he really wants to be with this woman so badly. Yeah, and this was a reuniting of an old band. All girl band. She was probably called the Earth Girls. Yeah, and one of them gets killed. Oh yeah, and the attempted murder weapon is not some knife. It's a fingernail, but not any fingernail. A thumbnail. Yeah, an actual regular thumbnail they actually use, and it's just a stab in the throat. I'm like, wow, that's quite unusual. Though in second series I've seen where a character gets stabbed with a fingernail. The only other series I've seen is in Believe It or Not isn't Buffett Vampire Slayer. Toward the end of season 2, they had the second Slayer on the show get killed by having a throat slit with a fingernail. Oh yeah, and how they were to get rid of the evidence for this thing? Her biting her nail. Yep. All because she can't find any nail clippers. And the reason? Because she stole her boyfriend. I'm like, wow. Kind of a dumb reason to kill somebody. Yeah, it's not like the most common reason is money. But this, over stealing someone's boyfriend. Yeah, it turns out that the whole engagement thing that this whole thing was all about was all bogus. Yeah, and then later on, the manager, like this woman's manager, actually proposed to her later. Yeah, and turns out that and they also had met this guy before, the samurai detective, the actor who plays him, back in the previous season. It was nice to see this guy again. Quite an interesting character. You get a chance. He didn't really do very much in the episode. I mean, Conan realized right away this guy was not her fiance due to the fact he wanted to cover up with a towel. And apparently her manager has no problem with her seeing her butt naked. Yeah, apparently. Maybe he's actually slept with her. That's a possibility. But, yeah. Turns out it was actually one member of the Earth Grove people thought it was going to be this one, but yeah, this one, there was one woman they suspected, but nope, wasn't her at all. It was different from someone else. Yeah, but it was actually quite ingenious. Yeah. And of course we have the tragedy. Okay, well let me take a look here. I think I may have screwed this one up here with the horse thing. Yeah, the 3Ks that was actually three, not the horse thing. That was actually this later episode. This one involved a American sports reporter getting killed. How? He got shot. Yeah, and the person who killed him was actually a soccer player, a retired one who Jimmy is a fan of. Yeah, they also had a retired boxer and a major leaguer. Why didn't they refer to him as a major leaguer? It's for as a baseball player. Why refer to him as a major leaguer for? This honestly made no sense at all. Like, okay, boxer, soccer player, perfectly fine. Did this show have problems saying the word baseball? Because last time I checked, baseball is just as popular in Japan as is soccer. Why they call him Major Leaguer for? I have no idea. Plus, the guy who looked like Ray Curtis, that's the name of the character, he looked a lot like the guy who used to play for the Diamondbacks. Randy Johnson, I think his name is. Yeah, the guy who was like 6'3" and was their pitcher for years. He had a very striking resemblance to him. Yeah. And the goalie, of course, turns out he was actually originally a corner fielder who became a goalie after the previous two goalies were injured. Yep. And he retired after he was exposed to taking drugs. But it was actually by him. He didn't take drugs until after the article came out. Of course, his wife also committed suicide. All because this one reporter guy loves reporting on this sleazy stuff. Yeah, this seems like a tabloid reporter. He probably is. I mean, why does this guy get off on exposing these guys, like, behind the scenes stuff? Yeah. And what was the boxer? What was his thing that he had on him? Apparently, he had been taking, I think it was like enhancement drugs. Actually, no. It was actually his fights being fixed, so he had to force retire. The baseball player was due to his wife. Apparently, he was rumored having an affair, but his marriage is perfectly fine because he's married to a Japanese woman. Ray Curtis was married to a Japanese woman as well. Also, how they accomplished the whole thing of how he was able to play at the same time was by kicking a soccer ball down the stairs. And the whole thing while this is going on, they're trying to turn on all lights in his hotel. Somehow, I'm like, okay, how did they get permission to do this? Yeah, this is something that's never revealed in the episode. It's just, okay, Rachel is asked to give a walkie-talkie, and they have to basically turn on a big K. They do finish this, and then the reporter is killed, like, right afterwards. Ray Curtis, and of course, there's that one portion in the episode where Ray and Conan were speaking English. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I know that Jimmy has spoken English in the past, so I'm not surprised. But they speak, like, a whole, like, 5 or 6 lines in English, which was probably been unusual probably for the sub actor to do. But here's kind of the thing. This is the second time in the series where Jimmy spoke in English, even though he's actually Japanese. In the sub. Though my thing is, like, if this episode was dubbed, how would they accomplish the fact if all these characters are speaking English, even though they're supposed to be speaking Japanese? Yeah, this honestly makes no sense. The last time this happened was actually, I think, back in the end of season 5 when they had Jimmy Kudo's first case on an airplane, mind you. Yeah. Of course, this was an episode featuring Harley. Yeah, one of several episodes featuring him. Excuse me. Let's see. Kidnap in the picture. Yeah, the Detective League had to go. They found out about kidnapping of a 5-year-old boy, and it turns out he was kidnapped by a guy wearing a clown parrot mask. Okay, as for why he did this, never revealed his motive. He just kidnapped him for money. Yeah, they do save him. Oh, one thing I noticed though about his grandfather, he has very much a striking resemblance to a victim from the first season of the show. Yeah, I'm not surprised because, well, the writer himself basically has reused designs for the characters in the past, so wasn't all surprised. I was a little bit surprised to see that, but yeah, when I first saw, like, wait, aren't you dead? Didn't you get killed off in that luxury cruise? But it's a completely different character. Yeah, and it's all to do with drawings. I thought this was really ingenious for this episode. And they did find him, and it's like a couple times in the series where the boys get the junior detective league gets chastised for doing something really good. Conan basically did not want to go and confront him right away. He wanted a police to handle it, but Amy decided to have guts and just basically follow them to the car anyways. And she was able to find him. Of course, he gave him outside. So he referred to her as sort of like a big sis, even though she's not that much older than he is. He's supposed to be 5. Amy's supposed to be like 6 or 7. She's roughly like a year or two older than he is. Yeah. And here's the thing. He goes to a different school than she does. Yeah, she's a first grade. He's a kindergartner. Yeah. This overall was one fantastic season. Thoroughly, and I can't wait for season 10, which is only 30. And oh, by the way, one thing I noticed about this season, I noticed this for next season as well. There are no episodes that aired for an hour or 2 hours long. None of that. Yeah, apparently they decided to take a break doing that for 2 seasons, but they did resume doing that back in season 11. That's what I looked up online. But yeah, so yeah, and also this is the first season of the 21st century. Yeah, this was the first to do that. Yeah. So now, with this season done, I have 18 more seasons left to go for the whole entire series before I finally catch it up. As for the manga, mind you, I'm only at volume 42, and I've read like the first 436 chapters. Still got a while to go for that too, just like the anime. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. I have one more review coming today, and that's a review of the news episode of Today's Attorney. Okay, but do this next review. Bye.